Kanye West just broke down in tears after shocking claims about his daughter North hit the internet, and now fans are accusing Kim Kardashian of trying to turn the whole scandal into profit. But is this really about protection or power? And real quick, if you like getting the unfiltered side of hip-hop drama, make sure you hit subscribe. You won't want to miss what's next. Kanye West and Kim Kardashian have never exactly been strangers to drama. But this time, the battle isn't about money, fashion, or even their own relationship. It's about their daughter, North. And what's making headlines now is a fight that spiraled far beyond normal family disagreements. It all started when Kanye began working on a new track, reportedly featuring his daughter's voice alongside hip-hop mogul Diddy. The song, tentatively titled "Lonely Roads Still Go to Sunshine," wasn't just another entry in Kanye's endless stream of experimental music. To him, it was a statement, an artistic legacy that included his firstborn. But before the world could even hear it, Kim allegedly stepped in to slam the brakes. According to reports, Kim moved fast to trademark North's name. On the surface, that might sound like a protective mother making sure her child's image isn't exploited. But in the high-stakes world of entertainment, trademarks aren't just shields, they're weapons. By securing control, Kim essentially gained the power to dictate when, where, and how North's voice or likeness could ever be used. That meant Kanye's song could be blocked, altered, or completely shelved, no matter how much it meant to him. And Kanye didn't take it quietly. In a series of explosive messages he posted online, he accused Kim of trying to control not only his music, but the representation of their children altogether. He painted her actions as hypocritical, claiming she built a career on controversy while now trying to stop their daughter from even appearing on one of his tracks. For Kanye, this wasn't about contracts or lawyers, it was personal. For Kim, it was about control and possibly profit. And caught in the middle was North, a child whose name had suddenly become a legal battleground, sparking debates about whether this was protection or something much darker. When Kanye finally went public with his frustrations, it wasn't through a quiet interview or a carefully staged press release. It was through raw, unfiltered text messages that he himself leaked. Screenshots began circulating online, showing heated exchanges between him and Kim, and those messages instantly lit up social media. In them, Kanye accused Kim of standing in the way of his artistic vision and trying to silence their daughter's voice before the world could even hear it. One of the most striking lines reportedly came from Kanye himself, telling Kim that unless she amended her stance, he was going to war. That phrase became a headline overnight, and fans couldn't stop debating whether this was just another public meltdown or the start of something much bigger. The texts revealed a side of their conflict that felt almost too personal, like the curtain had been ripped away from a private family argument and broadcast to millions. Kanye's words carried not just anger, but desperation. He seemed to believe that Kim wasn't just blocking a song, but was actively controlling how their children's identities would be shaped in the public eye. He argued that as their father, he had a right to include North in his music, especially when the project carried cultural weight. Kim's replies, by contrast, were calm but firm, making it clear that she was not backing down. She defended her position as necessary, hinting that she was only trying to protect North from being pulled into controversies she couldn't control. But fans quickly pointed out that Kim herself has never shied away from using her family's names, images, and even personal struggles as part of the Kardashian brand. The contradiction was hard to ignore, and it fueled speculation that her true motive wasn't just safety. It might have been ownership. The release of these texts turned a private disagreement into a public trial, one that left millions of people choosing sides. For Kanye, sharing those messages may have been a plea for support, proof that he wasn't exaggerating. But for Kim, the leaks created even more heat, sparking conversations about whether she was really defending her daughter or defending her control. As the texts kept making waves, rumors began to swirl about supposed leaks tied to North. And this is where the story took on an even darker twist. Whispers started appearing across gossip blogs and social media, claiming that private clips and recordings involving Kanye's daughter had been exposed, with some outlets going as far as to suggest that Kim might be using the scandal as leverage. The problem is, once rumors like these begin to circulate, it becomes almost impossible to separate fact from fiction. What's clear is that no credible source has confirmed the existence of any compromising material, but the speculation itself was enough to ignite outrage. Fans questioned whether someone close to the situation was feeding these stories to the press, while others accused the tabloids of manufacturing drama for clicks. At the same time, conspiracy theories popped up online. suggesting that Kim's decision to trademark North's name and likeness wasn't just about legal protection. It was a way to corner every possible revenue stream tied to her daughter. After all, controlling the narrative means controlling the money, whether it's music, fashion, or endorsements. Kanye's supporters took these rumors as proof that he was fighting against a machine designed to exploit his children, while Kim's defenders insisted the chatter was baseless and unfair. But in the court of public opinion, truth often takes a backseat to perception, and the perception here was explosive. Social media amplified every claim, no matter how thin, making the situation feel like a storm that couldn't be contained, and the silence from both sides about the leaks only fueled speculation further. Were they ignoring the rumors to avoid legitimizing them? Or was there something they didn't want to confront publicly? That question kept audiences hooked. What started as a legal disagreement over a song now seemed like it was spiraling into a full-blown scandal with global eyes watching. And whether or not the leaks were real, the idea that a child was at the center of it made the entire situation feel even more unsettling, raising questions that neither Kanye nor Kim seemed ready to answer. While Kanye was making noise online and fans were dissecting every rumor, Kim's actions began to draw even more attention. On paper, her move to trademark North's name could be explained as a standard celebrity tactic, something many stars do to shield their children from unauthorized deals or products. But with the timing tied so closely to Kanye's song, people started questioning whether this was truly about protection or a carefully calculated power play. Trademarking doesn't just stop shady companies from selling knockoff merch. It hands the trademark holder exclusive rights to use the name in virtually every business category imaginable, from fashion to music to entertainment. In other words, Kim may have secured a legal monopoly on North's identity, allowing her to decide what her daughter's brand would be worth and who would profit from it. Critics argued that Kim wasn't simply trying to protect her daughter from controversy, but positioning North as the next Kardashian business empire. It wasn't hard for fans to connect the dots, given the family's long history of turning personal lives into lucrative ventures. At the same time, Kim presented herself as the responsible parent, painting Kanye as reckless for pushing North into an industry he knows is unforgiving. To her supporters, she was stepping in to prevent their daughter from being dragged into adult scandals before she was old enough to understand them. Yet to Kanye's camp, Kim's narrative sounded like spin, a convenient excuse for her to seize control while simultaneously undermining his bond with North. The contrast was striking, one side framing it as protection, the other seeing it as exploitation. And because Kim has built her career on turning private drama into public profit, every move she made was met with suspicion. Was she locking down trademarks to shield her child's future, or to lay the groundwork for a billion-dollar brand? That question alone kept the headlines alive, and it deepened the idea that this wasn't just a parental disagreement. It was a battle over image, money, and legacy. With North's name at the very center of the storm, for Kanye, the fight was never just about paperwork or legal filings. It was about what he believed was a father's right to shape his child's future without interference. In his posts and public outbursts, he made it clear that the emotional toll was crushing him. He spoke about feeling stripped of his authority as a parent, watching decisions about his daughter's identity being made without him. That frustration spilled into his art, with Kanye hinting that every attempt to silence North's involvement only made him more determined to push forward. He described himself as a man fighting not just for a song, but for recognition of his role in his children's lives. Supporters saw his tears and his anger as genuine, pointing to years of legal battles and public humiliations that had left him scarred. In their eyes, Kanye wasn't being dramatic. He was exposing the lengths one parent would go to just to be heard. But critics framed his reaction differently, accusing him of weaponizing his daughter to regain relevance and sympathy. The divide highlighted how polarizing Kanye had become. To some, he was a father standing up against an ex-wife who had turned family into business, while to others, he was once again unraveling in the spotlight. What made this clash even more intense was Kanye's insistence that Kim was being hypocritical. He accused her of building her empire on publicity stunts and media exploitation, only to now claim she was trying to protect their children from exposure. For him, it wasn't just a contradiction, it was betrayal. He wanted the world to see that he was being blocked from sharing something he believed was both personal and artistic. While Kim was being allowed to dictate the rules unchallenged, the emotional weight of his response made it clear this wasn't just another celebrity feud. To Kanye, it was about legacy, fatherhood, and the right to let his daughter's voice be heard. And if he had to fight publicly, cry publicly, or even burn bridges publicly, he seemed ready to do it. As the conflict played out in public, the reaction from fans and the media became just as much a part of the story as the feud itself. Social media split almost instantly into two camps: those who believed Kanye was courageously exposing the truth, and those who accused him of dragging his daughter into unnecessary drama. Hashtags began trending, with supporters amplifying his claims that Kim was exploiting North. While critics insisted that Kanye was using the situation to generate sympathy and headlines for himself, the public scrutiny didn't stop at opinions either. Legal experts weighed in on television panels and podcasts, pointing out how trademarks, custody agreements, and intellectual property laws could shape the outcome. Some speculated that Kanye might push the fight into court, while others warned that exposing so much personal conflict could damage both parents' reputations more than any ruling ever could. For Kim, the risk was clear. Being portrayed as a mother profiting from her child's image could tarnish the carefully curated Kardashian brand, even if her intentions were legitimate. For Kanye, the risk was different, but just as damaging. If the narrative that he was unstable or exploiting his daughter gained traction, it could undermine his credibility as both an artist and a father. Meanwhile, the wider entertainment world couldn't look away. Other celebrities began dropping subtle hints online, some siding with Kim's protective stance, others expressing sympathy for Kanye's emotional fight. Every comment, every repost, and every like was dissected by fans hungry for more clues. The frenzy showed how much this feud had grown beyond a private family issue and into a spectacle with cultural weight. At its core, though, the risk was personal. North, still a child, was being discussed on global platforms in terms of business, branding, and controversy. That reality made the stakes higher than any song release or trademark. And with public opinion shifting daily, both Kim and Kanye faced the possibility that this battle could define not only their legacies as celebrities, but their reputations as parents in the eyes of millions. In the end, what began as a fight over a song has spiraled into a battle over control, image, and legacy. Kanye insists he's fighting for his daughter's voice, while Kim frames herself as the protector of North's future. But with millions watching, the question lingers: was this about protection, profit, or power? And as the dust settles, one thing is certain: the war between Kanye and Kim is far from over.